The moment I walked through the door, the image burned into my mind with an intensity I couldn't shake. Megan was sprawled across our bed, laughing. But it wasn't her laughter that stopped me cold. It was Dan, my best friend, lying beside her. My entire world collapsed in that split second. I stood frozen, disbelief clawing at my insides. I never imagined this. Not in 1,000 nightmares. I could only manage a broken whisper. Megan? Dan? Megan's eyes widened in shock and guilt as she scrambled to cover herself. Dan, ever the coward, quickly pulled on his clothes, avoiding my gaze. My breath came in ragged gasps, each one a painful reminder of the trust that had just shattered. What is this? I finally managed to choke out, my voice barely above a whisper. Megan's attempt to justify her actions with tears and excuses only made it worse. She spoke of loneliness, of needs unmet, but her words felt hollow and distant, like they belonged to a stranger. Anger surged through me as I confronted Dan. I found him in the living room, trying to collect himself, but the sight of him only fueled my rage. How could you? You were supposed to be my friend. I shouted, the pain in my voice raw and exposed. Dan could only stammer an apology before fleeing, leaving me alone with the wreckage of my life. I had always been a man of reason, but this was different. My mind raced with 1,000 questions. How long had this been going on? Were there signs I missed? Red flags I ignored? The questions spun in my head, each one a jagged shard of a broken trust. My memories of our 11 years together felt like a distant dream. I thought of the first time I saw Megan, her laugh, her smile, the way she made every day brighter. I remembered the hard times, the struggles, and how we always pulled through together. It all seemed so insignificant now, eclipsed by the betrayal that loomed over me. In a desperate attempt to escape the suffocating pain, I retreated to our summer cabin, a place that once symbolized happiness. The quiet solitude was supposed to help me think, but instead, it amplified the emptiness. The walls that once echoed with laughter now seemed to mock my sorrow. When Megan came to talk, I faced her with a mixture of exhaustion and resignation. We spoke about the past, the present, and what might come next. Her words of regret felt insincere, and the gravity of the situation became clear. The love I had thought was unbreakable was now a fragile thread, frayed and unraveling. I considered forgiveness, though the idea seemed foreign. Could I ever look at her without seeing Dan? Could our relationship be rebuilt from this wreckage? My thoughts were a jumble of conflicting emotions, each one more painful than the last. Seeking some semblance of clarity, I began therapy, hoping to untangle the mess inside my head. Each session felt like peeling back layers of a painful truth, but it was necessary. I needed to understand and, ultimately, decide what to do next. The process of separating our lives was painful and drawn out. Everything we built together was now being divided, and each step felt like another stab to the heart. It was a painful reminder of what we had lost. In the end, I realized I had to move forward. The past, though painful, could no longer define me. I had to rebuild, to find new purpose and happiness beyond the wreckage of what once was. The journey would be long, but it was the only path left to me. The first few days after discovering Megan's betrayal were a blur. I was numb, caught between the agony of her actions and the numbness of disbelief. I felt like a spectator in my own life, watching from a distance as the world spun out of control. Each morning, I was haunted by the sight of Megan and Dan, replaying in my mind like a cruel loop. I couldn't shake the image of them together, the laughter I once cherished now twisted into a symbol of betrayal. I tried to distract myself with work, but every interaction was colored by a heavy shadow. My colleagues sensed something was off, but I couldn't bring myself to explain. How could I? Who would understand the depth of this kind of pain? At home, everything felt foreign. I wandered through rooms that used to be filled with warmth and conversation, now barren and cold. I tried to find some normalcy, but even the smallest tasks felt monumental. Cooking a meal for one felt like a mockery of the life we had shared. Megan reached out repeatedly, leaving voicemails and sending texts filled with apologies and pleas for a chance to explain. Each message felt like another knife twisting in my heart. I couldn't bear to listen to them, but I couldn't bring myself to delete them either. I wanted to hear her voice, yet it only intensified the pain. I decided to confront the signs I had ignored. The late nights, the unexplained absences. I pored over old messages and receipts, piecing together the timeline of their affair. Each revelation felt like another layer of betrayal, confirming my worst fears. I found emails between Megan and Dan, planning secret meetings, discussing their feelings. The pain was so acute it felt physical, like my chest was being crushed under an invisible weight. With each new piece of evidence, my sense of reality grew more distorted. I began to question everything I thought I knew about Megan. Was the woman I loved for 11 years merely a facade? I couldn't reconcile the person I thought I knew with the one who had betrayed me so profoundly. In the midst of this chaos, I started to consider the future. What did I want now? The life I had envisioned with Megan was shattered, and I had to face the reality of starting over. The thought of moving forward without her was daunting, but staying in a relationship built on such a foundation felt impossible. I sought solace in our summer cabin, hoping the isolation would help me clear my mind. The familiar surroundings offered little comfort. Every corner of the cabin seemed to echo with memories of happier times, intensifying my loneliness. I found myself wandering the trails we used to walk together, seeking some semblance of peace but finding only reminders of what had been lost. Eventually, I agreed to see a therapist. The decision came from a place of desperation. I needed to make sense of the turmoil and find a way to cope. Each session was a journey into my own psyche, unraveling the tangled emotions and confronting the harsh realities of my situation. It was slow and painful, but it offered a glimmer of understanding. As the weeks went by, the reality of our impending separation became clearer. We began the process of dividing our lives, dealing with the legalities and the practicalities. Every decision felt like a fresh wound, reopening the scars of betrayal. The house we had built together now felt like a battleground, a constant reminder of our fractured relationship. Despite the pain, I knew I had to keep moving forward. I began to make plans for my future, focusing on rebuilding my life from the ruins. It was a daunting task, but it was the only path left. I had to find a way to heal and reclaim my sense of self from the wreckage of what once was. I spent the next few months navigating through the tangled mess of my emotions. Each day was a battle between the desire for closure and the fear of facing the pain. Therapy sessions became a lifeline, though they often left me emotionally drained. I was forced to confront the anger and sadness I'd been trying to suppress, and while it was grueling, it was also a necessary step toward healing. Megan and I had several intense conversations about our relationship and the future. She was persistent in her attempts to explain her actions, often breaking down into tears and begging for another chance. Her apologies felt genuine, but they were too late. The trust was irrevocably broken, and no amount of remorse could mend it. The legal process of divorce was a bitter pill to swallow. Each meeting with the lawyer, every discussion about dividing our assets, felt like a reminder of what we had lost. The house, which had once been our home, was now a symbol of our fractured marriage. Deciding who would keep what was both practical and symbolic, marking the end of our shared life. I threw myself into work, trying to immerse myself in something that felt normal. It was an escape from the constant reminders of what had happened. Yet, even at the office, my mind would wander back to Megan and Dan. I couldn't help but wonder how easily they had moved on while I was left to pick up the pieces. Slowly, the cabin became my sanctuary. The quiet and isolation provided a space for reflection. I spent hours walking through the forest, trying to come to terms with the reality of my situation. Nature offered some solace, a gentle reminder that life goes on, even when it feels like it's fallen apart. One day, I came across a small, charming town nearby that I'd never explored. It felt like a metaphor for my life, something new and unknown, with the promise of fresh beginnings. I started visiting the town regularly, enjoying the simplicity and the distraction it provided. The people there were kind and welcoming, a stark contrast to the pain I'd been experiencing. Gradually, I began to think about my own needs and desires. I started to plan for the future, envisioning a life that didn't revolve around my past with Megan. I began pursuing hobbies I had neglected and reconnecting with friends who had been sidelined during the chaos of my marriage. It was during this period of self-discovery that I realized how much I had lost sight of myself. The man I had been before Megan and Dan had been buried under layers of hurt and betrayal. Reclaiming that part of me was both liberating and challenging. Through therapy and self-reflection, I began to rebuild my sense of self-worth. I learned to embrace the pain as a part of my journey, rather than something to be avoided. The process was neither quick nor easy, but each small victory brought me closer to acceptance and healing. As the final details of the divorce were being wrapped up, I faced the reality that Megan and Dan were part of my past, not my future. The hardest part was letting go of the life I had envisioned with Megan, but I knew it was necessary for my own well-being. I accepted that moving forward meant acknowledging the pain but not allowing it to define me. The future remained uncertain, but for the first time since the betrayal, I felt a flicker of hope. I was ready to embrace the unknown and rebuild my life, guided by the lessons I had learned from the past. The journey was far from over, but I was finally ready to take the next step. With the finalization of the divorce, a strange sense of finality settled over me. The legal and emotional battles were behind me, but the real challenge lay in navigating this new chapter of my life. I had a fresh start, but it felt like I was standing at the edge of an abyss, looking into an uncertain future. The house we had shared was now up for sale, a painful but necessary step. I watched as real estate agents walked through, assessing its value. Each visit was a stark reminder of what was lost. I spent my evenings packing up the remnants of our life, sorting through belongings that once held meaning. It was a therapeutic exercise in letting go, but it also brought back a flood of memories, both joyful and heartbreaking. During this time, I made a conscious effort to reconnect with friends and family. The support was invaluable, though their well-meaning advice sometimes felt overwhelming. I appreciated their concern, but it was difficult to explain the depth of my feelings. I needed to find my own path, not simply follow the well-intentioned suggestions of others. As I settled into a temporary apartment, I was struck by the stark contrast to the home I had known. The new place was smaller, more modest, but it was mine. It symbolized a fresh start, a blank slate where I could begin to rebuild. I took comfort in the small victories, like arranging furniture in a way that felt right and decorating with personal touches that made it feel like home. I began to explore new interests and hobbies, ones I had neglected during the tumultuous years of my marriage. I joined a local gym, started taking cooking classes, and even signed up for a pottery workshop. Each activity was a step toward rediscovering who I was outside of my previous relationship. The process was both exhilarating and daunting, but it was a crucial part of my healing. The cabin, once a refuge, became a place of reflection rather than escape. I visited less frequently, but when I did, it was with a sense of peace rather than the desperate search for solace. The natural beauty around me continued to offer comfort, reminding me that life, like nature, had seasons of renewal. The small town I had discovered became a cherished part of my routine. Its charm and simplicity provided a sense of normalcy and belonging that I had been missing. I began to frequent local cafes and markets, slowly integrating into the community. The connections I made there, though small, helped anchor me as I navigated this new phase of my life. In the midst of all this, I reflected on the lessons learned from the past. The betrayal had been a profound test, but it had also revealed my resilience. I had faced a devastating blow and come out the other side stronger, more self-aware. I learned the importance of self-care, the value of honest communication, and the necessity of moving forward, even when it seemed impossible. As the year progressed, I started to envision a future filled with possibilities. The pain of the past was still there, but it was no longer the dominant force in my life. I was learning to embrace the present and look forward to the future with a cautious optimism. The journey was far from over, but I felt equipped to face whatever came next. Rebuilding my life was a continuous process, but with each passing day, I felt more confident in my ability to shape it into something meaningful. I had survived the ultimate test of betrayal and emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, I felt ready to embrace it, one step at a time. As the months turned into a year, I found myself settling into a new rhythm. The emotional storm had passed, leaving behind a clearer perspective and a tentative sense of normalcy. The apartment that once felt foreign was now a reflection of my evolving self, filled with personal touches that made it truly mine. I had continued to build on the progress I had made. My new hobbies brought unexpected joy and satisfaction. Cooking, which had once been a mundane task, became a passion. I found solace in experimenting with recipes, each meal a small triumph. The pottery classes, too, were surprisingly therapeutic. Shaping clay into something tangible provided a sense of control and creativity I had been missing. The relationships I had started to build in the small town deepened. The local community embraced me, and I began to form genuine connections. I became a regular at the local bookstore and coffee shop, where I enjoyed friendly conversations with the owners and fellow patrons. These interactions, though simple, provided a sense of belonging that was profoundly comforting. Yet, amidst these positive changes, there were still moments of reflection and sadness. I would sometimes find myself wandering through old photos or reminiscing about the past. The memories of Megan and our life together were always there, a bittersweet reminder of what had been. I had learned to accept these moments as part of my healing process, allowing myself to feel the pain but not letting it define me. One evening, as I was sorting through some old letters and mementos, I stumbled upon a box of photographs from our travels. Each picture captured a different chapter of our shared journey, from sunny beaches to mountain hikes. The memories were both cherished and painful, a testament to a time when our future seemed limitless. In the midst of this reflective period, I decided to take a trip on my own. I chose a destination that had always intrigued me but that Megan and I had never visited. The idea was to immerse myself in a new environment, to explore and discover without the baggage of the past. The trip was both exhilarating and daunting, but it proved to be a significant step in my journey of self-discovery. Traveling alone allowed me to embrace new experiences without the constraints of past expectations. I met new people, tried different cuisines, and explored unfamiliar landscapes. Each day was an opportunity to reinvent myself, to find joy in the present rather than dwelling on the past. Upon returning, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The trip had been a reminder of the world's vastness and the possibilities it held. I realized that while my past had shaped me, it did not define my future. I was free to create a new narrative for myself, one that was not overshadowed by past betrayals but was instead illuminated by new experiences and growth. As I continued to navigate this new chapter, I remained focused on building a life that reflected my values and desires. The journey was ongoing, filled with both challenges and triumphs. I embraced the process, knowing that each step forward, no matter how small, was a testament to my resilience and determination. The future remained uncertain, but I faced it with a sense of optimism and readiness. The past was a part of me, but it no longer controlled me. I was learning to balance the memories with the present, using them as a foundation for a future that was uniquely my own. The road ahead was open, and for the first time in a long while, I was ready to embrace it fully. As the year came to a close, I found myself reflecting on the progress I had made. The pain of the past was no longer as consuming as it once was. I had learned to embrace the changes and to find comfort in the new rhythms of my life. Yet, as the end of the year approached, the past seemed to resurface in unexpected ways. One chilly December evening, I was sorting through some holiday decorations when I found an old box filled with Christmas cards and letters. Many were from Megan and our families, filled with warmth and affection from years past. The nostalgia was overwhelming, and I felt a wave of sadness and longing for a time that was now irretrievably gone. The holiday season had always been a special time for us. I remembered the traditions we had shared, decorating the tree, cooking festive meals, and exchanging thoughtful gifts. It was a stark contrast to my current reality. The absence of those traditions felt like a void that nothing could fill. I decided to spend the holidays differently this year, focusing on creating new memories and traditions for myself. I volunteered at a local shelter, an idea that had been suggested during one of my therapy sessions. The experience was both humbling and fulfilling. Helping those in need gave me a sense of purpose and reminded me of the importance of giving back. It was a welcome distraction from my own troubles and allowed me to connect with others in a meaningful way. During this time, I also made an effort to reach out to old friends with whom I had lost touch. Reconnecting with them was a source of joy and provided a fresh perspective on my situation. Their support and the shared laughter reminded me of the value of long-standing relationships and the comfort of genuine connection. Despite these positive experiences, the anniversary of the day I discovered Megan's betrayal was approaching. The date loomed in my mind, a reminder of the past that I had been trying to move beyond. I knew I had to confront it, to acknowledge it rather than avoid it. On the anniversary, I chose to spend the day doing something meaningful. I visited a nearby park and took a long walk, reflecting on the journey I had been through. The park, with its serene environment and the gentle crunch of snow underfoot, provided a peaceful backdrop for contemplation. I allowed myself to feel the sadness and the loss, but I also focused on the growth and the resilience I had developed. The walk was both cathartic and reaffirming. I felt a sense of closure, not in erasing the past but in accepting it as part of my journey. I had come a long way since that day, and while the pain would never fully disappear, it had become a manageable part of my life. As the new year began, I felt a cautious optimism. The future was still uncertain, but I was more equipped to face it with a renewed sense of strength and self-awareness. The past had shaped me, but it no longer held the same power over my present and future. I continued to build on the progress I had made, focusing on personal growth and new experiences. The journey of healing was ongoing, but I was learning to navigate it with a sense of purpose and hope. The new year brought with it a promise of fresh opportunities and a chance to create a life that reflected my true self. The path ahead was open, and I was ready to walk it with confidence, knowing that I had the strength and resilience to face whatever came next. Spring arrived with a renewed sense of vitality, and I was determined to embrace it fully. The chill of winter had receded, giving way to the budding life and fresh beginnings that spring promised. I used this transition as a metaphor for my own journey and began to make intentional changes to foster growth and renewal in my life. One of the first things I decided to tackle was my living space. My apartment had become a refuge, but it was time to transform it into a place that truly represented my new beginning. I undertook a renovation project, updating the decor and adding personal touches that reflected my evolving tastes and interests. The process was both satisfying and symbolic, marking a fresh start. As part of my commitment to personal growth, I enrolled in a local art class. I had always been interested in painting but had never pursued it seriously. The class provided an outlet for creativity and allowed me to express emotions I hadn't fully articulated. The act of creating art became a form of therapy, offering a new way to process and understand my experiences. During this time, I continued to build on the connections I had made in the small town. I started participating in community events and joined a local book club. The book club became a source of both intellectual stimulation and social interaction. The discussions and friendships I formed helped reinforce my sense of belonging and provided a new network of support. One Saturday, I attended a local farmer's market. As I wandered through the stalls, I struck up a conversation with a vendor about a community gardening project. The idea intrigued me, and I decided to get involved. Gardening became a new passion, offering a tangible way to nurture and cultivate something, much like I was nurturing my own growth. Amid these positive changes, I also faced challenges. My interactions with Megan became sporadic, mostly dealing with the final logistics of our separation. Each communication was a reminder of the past, but I approached it with a sense of detachment. I was learning to handle these interactions with a focus on closure rather than emotional turmoil. One evening, while walking through the park where I had previously reflected on my past, I encountered a familiar face. It was Sarah, an old acquaintance from college. We had lost touch over the years, but our chance meeting felt serendipitous. We reconnected over coffee, and our conversations were filled with warmth and genuine interest. Sarah's presence in my life was a welcome reminder of the importance of rekindling old friendships and forming new connections. With spring in full bloom, I felt a sense of renewal that mirrored the world around me. I continued to embrace new experiences and opportunities, allowing myself to grow and evolve. The activities and relationships I had cultivated provided a foundation for a fulfilling life, one that was shaped by resilience and optimism rather than the pain of the past. I remained mindful of the journey ahead, understanding that healing was a continuous process. Each step forward, whether through creative endeavors, community involvement, or personal growth, was a testament to my commitment to moving forward. The future was filled with potential, and I was eager to explore it with an open heart and a renewed sense of purpose. Spring had become a symbol of my own transformation, a reminder that even after the harshest winters, there is always the promise of renewal. I faced the future with a sense of hope and excitement, ready to embrace the possibilities and challenges that lay ahead. Summer arrived, and with it came a sense of liberation. The warmth and long days seemed to mirror the newfound freedom I was experiencing. I decided to take advantage of the season by pushing myself out of my comfort zone and trying things I had always wanted to do but never had the chance. I signed up for a solo hiking trip in the nearby mountains, a challenge that both excited and intimidated me. The journey into the wilderness was as much about physical endurance as it was about emotional exploration. Each step on the rugged terrain felt like a metaphor for overcoming the obstacles in my own life. The solitude of the hike provided a space for reflection, and the breathtaking views offered a powerful reminder of the beauty that still existed in the world. During this time, I also deepened my involvement in community activities. The gardening project had taken off, and I found myself immersed in the camaraderie of fellow gardeners. Tending to the community garden became a weekly ritual, and the sense of accomplishment in nurturing plants and seeing them thrive was immensely gratifying. It was a tangible way to witness the results of hard work and patience, and it further solidified my connection to the town. Amid the joys of summer, I encountered a few setbacks. My old apartment was finally sold, and the transition to a new place came with its own set of challenges. Moving into a new apartment required me to adjust to a different environment and manage the logistics of setting up a new home. While it was a step forward, it also came with a degree of stress and uncertainty. I tried to embrace the change with optimism, focusing on the positives of starting anew. One evening, while attending a local festival, I met someone who would become a significant part of my summer. Her name was Emily, and she was passionate about community outreach and social causes. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and we discovered a shared interest in making a difference. Emily introduced me to a local organization that focused on providing support to underprivileged youth. Volunteering with this group became a new and fulfilling aspect of my summer, allowing me to channel my energy into something meaningful and impactful. Through these experiences, I began to appreciate the importance of connection and community. Building relationships and contributing to causes I cared about gave my life a new sense of purpose. Emily and I continued to spend time together, not only working on community projects but also exploring the city and discovering new places. Our friendship grew, and it was refreshing to form a bond based on mutual interests and shared values. As summer began to wane, I took a moment to reflect on how far I had come. The transformation I had undergone was more profound than I had anticipated. I had faced my past with courage, embraced new experiences, and built meaningful connections. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been immensely rewarding. The season's end brought with it a natural pause for introspection. I looked back on the growth and progress I had made, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the support I had received and the opportunities that had come my way. The lessons learned over the past year had shaped me into a person who was not only resilient but also open to the possibilities of the future. As I prepared for the transition into the next season, I felt a renewed sense of hope and anticipation. Summer had been a time of exploration and growth, and I was ready to carry that momentum forward. The future remained full of potential, and I was eager to continue building a life that was vibrant, fulfilling, and true to myself. As autumn unfolded, I found myself in a reflective state, often contemplating the changes and growth of the past year. The crisp air and vibrant colors of the season seemed to mirror my own transformation. It was a time for winding down and taking stock of the journey I had embarked upon since the upheaval of my marriage. I decided to take a short trip to a nearby town known for its fall festivals and picturesque landscapes. The visit was both a getaway and a way to appreciate the beauty of the season. Wandering through the local farmers' market and enjoying the harvest festivities offered a sense of tranquility and renewal. It was a reminder that even as the year's end approached, there was still much to celebrate and appreciate. During this period, I continued to build on my involvement with the community organization I had joined. Working with underprivileged youth was incredibly rewarding, and it became a central part of my life. The interactions with the young people, their resilience, and their hopes for the future inspired me. It reinforced my belief in the importance of giving back and being a part of something larger than myself. One day, while volunteering, I had a profound conversation with a young woman named Lily. She spoke about her dreams and the obstacles she faced, and her determination resonated deeply with me. Our conversation led to a mentorship relationship, where I provided guidance and support. Lily's strength and ambition were a testament to the impact that encouragement and mentorship could have. As autumn deepened, I also focused on personal development. I continued to explore new hobbies and refine the ones I had embraced. The art classes and gardening project were now integral parts of my routine. Each offered a different form of creative expression and personal fulfillment. The act of painting and tending to the garden became meditative practices that helped me stay grounded. I also took the opportunity to reconnect with family members I had been distant from. Our conversations were heartfelt, and we shared stories and experiences that had been missed during the tumult of the previous year. Rebuilding these relationships was a healing process, and it helped reinforce the importance of family bonds. As Thanksgiving approached, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. The holiday was a chance to reflect on the positives in my life and to appreciate the journey I had undertaken. I hosted a small gathering for friends and family, a gesture of thanks for their support and presence in my life. The event was a celebration of resilience, growth, and the new connections I had made. The end of the year brought with it a natural pause for contemplation. I took some time to review the progress I had made and set goals for the coming year. The process of setting intentions for the future was both motivating and reassuring. I was eager to continue building on the foundation I had established and to face new challenges with the same sense of purpose and optimism. As winter began to settle in, I embraced the season as a time for rest and reflection. The quieter days allowed me to appreciate the calm after the whirlwind of the past year. I used this time to focus on self-care and to plan for the future with a sense of clarity and readiness. Autumn had been a season of reflection and connection. The experiences and relationships I had cultivated during this time provided a strong foundation for moving forward. I felt a renewed sense of purpose and a deep appreciation for the journey that had led me to this point. With the new year on the horizon, I looked forward to the possibilities and opportunities that awaited. The lessons learned and the growth experienced had prepared me for whatever came next. As I embraced the winter's quietude, I was ready to step into the future with confidence and hope. The new year arrived with a fresh wave of anticipation. The winter's quiet offered a stark contrast to the vibrant energy of the holidays, providing a space for introspection and planning. I welcomed the chance to reflect on the progress I had made and to set my sights on new goals for the coming year. One of my primary focuses was on further developing my personal and professional life. I had started to entertain the idea of pursuing a new career path, something that aligned more closely with my passions and values. To explore this possibility, I began taking online courses related to fields I had always been interested in but had never fully explored. The process was both invigorating and daunting, but it was a necessary step toward creating a future that felt authentic and fulfilling. During this time, I continued my involvement with the community organization and deepened my connection with Lily. Our mentorship relationship grew stronger, and I took pride in watching her progress. Her achievements were a testament to the power of support and encouragement. In turn, her growth and determination continued to inspire me and reaffirm my commitment to giving back. In the midst of these professional and personal pursuits, I also sought to enhance my well-being through mindfulness practices. I attended meditation retreats and began incorporating daily mindfulness exercises into my routine. These practices helped me maintain balance and navigate the challenges of life with greater ease. They also provided a sense of inner calm that was essential for managing stress and staying focused on my goals. As winter progressed, I found myself increasingly engaged in local events and activities. I became involved in organizing a charity fundraiser for the community organization I volunteered with. The event was a significant undertaking but was met with overwhelming support from the local community. It was a rewarding experience that underscored the importance of collective effort and community spirit. One chilly February evening, I attended a lecture on personal development. The speaker's insights into overcoming adversity and building resilience resonated deeply with me. The talk reinforced the lessons I had learned over the past year and provided new strategies for continuing my personal growth. The experience was both enlightening and motivating, offering fresh perspectives on navigating life's challenges. In parallel with these endeavors, I continued to nurture the relationships that had become important to me. Emily and I had grown closer, and our friendship evolved into something deeper. We supported each other through the ups and downs of life and shared a mutual understanding of the importance of personal growth and connection. Our bond was a testament to the value of finding and cultivating meaningful relationships. As the end of winter approached, I took some time to review the goals I had set for myself and to assess my progress. The journey had been transformative, marked by significant achievements and personal development. I felt a profound sense of satisfaction and gratitude for the experiences that had shaped my path. With the onset of spring, I looked forward to new opportunities and continued growth. The season's renewal mirrored my own sense of optimism and readiness for the future. I was excited to build on the progress I had made and to embrace the possibilities that lay ahead. The new year had been a period of profound change and self-discovery. The challenges faced and the successes achieved had equipped me with the tools to navigate the future with confidence. As I prepared for the next chapter, I was eager to continue evolving and to face whatever came my way with resilience and hope. As spring unfolded, I embraced the season's promise of growth and renewal. The days grew longer and warmer, bringing with them a sense of energy and possibility. It was a time to build on the momentum I had gained over the past year and to continue shaping a future that was in line with my aspirations. One of my primary goals was to explore new avenues for personal and professional development. I had been contemplating a significant career change and decided to take concrete steps toward making it a reality. I updated my resume, reached out to industry professionals for advice, and began applying for positions that aligned with my newfound interests. The process was both exciting and nerve-wracking, but it felt like a natural progression of the growth I had experienced. I continued to find solace in my hobbies and activities. The gardening project flourished, and the community garden was becoming a local highlight. The work I put into nurturing the plants reflected my own personal growth. Each blooming flower and ripe vegetable was a symbol of the care and effort that had gone into this shared endeavor. The sense of accomplishment and community was a constant reminder of the positive impact of my involvement. In my personal life, the relationship with Emily continued to deepen. We spent more time together, exploring new places and sharing experiences that brought us closer. Our bond became a source of joy and support, and we both appreciated the mutual understanding and respect that defined our connection. Emily's presence in my life was a reminder of the importance of surrounding oneself with positive, supportive people. Amid these positive developments, I faced a challenge that tested my resolve. Megan reached out to discuss the final aspects of our separation. The conversation was difficult, as it stirred up old emotions and reminders of the past. However, I approached it with a sense of detachment and a focus on closure. I recognized the importance of addressing these matters to move forward completely. As part of my commitment to personal growth, I attended a series of workshops on leadership and personal effectiveness. The workshops provided valuable insights into managing change and developing skills that would be beneficial in my career transition. They also offered strategies for maintaining balance and resilience in the face of challenges. The knowledge gained from these sessions was instrumental in refining my approach to both personal and professional goals. Spring also brought with it the opportunity to reconnect with old friends. A few weeks ago, I hosted a reunion gathering, bringing together people from different phases of my life. The event was a celebration of shared memories and a testament to the enduring bonds of friendship. It was heartening to see how these relationships had evolved and to appreciate the role they played in my journey. One particularly memorable experience was a weekend retreat focused on mindfulness and wellness. The retreat provided a chance to immerse myself in practices that supported mental and emotional well-being. The serene environment and guided sessions on meditation and relaxation were deeply refreshing. It reinforced my commitment to maintaining a balanced and mindful approach to life. As the season progressed, I continued to make strides in my career search. I secured several interviews for positions that excited me and aligned with my goals. The process of exploring these opportunities was invigorating, and it was clear that the steps I had taken were leading me closer to a fulfilling new chapter. The combination of professional advancements, personal growth, and meaningful relationships created a strong foundation for the future. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction and readiness for the next phase of my journey. Spring had been a time of significant progress and renewed hope, and I looked forward to building on this momentum. With each passing day, I embraced the possibilities that lay ahead. The lessons learned and the experiences gained had prepared me to face new challenges with confidence and optimism. As I continued to navigate this evolving journey, I was grateful for the growth and transformation that had brought me to this point. The future was bright, and I was ready to step into it with an open heart and a clear sense of purpose. As summer arrived, the pace of life seemed to accelerate with the season. The warmth and extended daylight hours brought a renewed sense of vigor, pushing me to embrace the opportunities and challenges that lay ahead. I was keenly aware that this period of my life was pivotal for laying the groundwork for long-term success and fulfillment. One of my major focuses was the transition into a new career. After months of applications and interviews, I finally received an offer for a position that perfectly aligned with my aspirations. The role promised to offer both the challenge and growth I was seeking. Accepting the offer was a significant milestone, marking a new chapter in my professional life. I was excited about the opportunities it presented and eager to dive into this next phase of my career. In parallel with this professional development, I continued to cultivate my personal interests. The community garden project was thriving, and I took on a more active role in its management. The camaraderie among the gardeners and the satisfaction of contributing to a shared goal provided a sense of accomplishment and belonging. The garden had become a symbol of resilience and cooperation, reflecting the positive changes in my life. My relationship with Emily continued to grow stronger. We planned a series of weekend getaways, exploring nearby cities and enjoying new experiences together. These trips allowed us to build lasting memories and deepen our connection. Emily's companionship and support were invaluable, and our time together reinforced the importance of surrounding oneself with people who uplift and inspire. The summer also brought an opportunity to give back in new ways. I became involved in organizing a summer camp for underprivileged children, working alongside the community organization I had been volunteering with. The camp aimed to provide enriching experiences and mentorship to children who otherwise might not have had access to such opportunities. The process of planning and running the camp was both demanding and rewarding, further solidifying my commitment to community service. Amid the busy schedule, I found time for introspection. I dedicated a few weekends to personal retreats, where I focused on mindfulness and self-reflection. These retreats provided a necessary respite from the daily grind and allowed me to reconnect with my inner self. They were a reminder of the importance of maintaining balance and taking time to recharge. As the summer progressed, I also made strides in my career. The new position offered challenges and learning experiences that were both stimulating and demanding. I approached each task with enthusiasm and a willingness to learn. The positive feedback from colleagues and the successful completion of key projects were affirmations of the choice I had made. The sense of accomplishment extended to my personal life as well. I participated in local events and continued to build relationships within the community. The interactions and experiences enriched my life and reinforced the importance of staying engaged and connected. One of the highlights of the summer was a charity gala organized by the community organization. The event was a culmination of months of planning and effort. It was a grand occasion, celebrating the achievements of the organization and raising funds for future projects. Attending the gala was a powerful reminder of the impact of collective effort and the difference one can make through dedication and commitment. As summer began to wind down, I reflected on the progress I had made. The season had been a period of significant growth and positive change. The new career, strengthened relationships, and community involvement had all contributed to a sense of fulfillment and purpose. With the approach of autumn, I felt a sense of readiness to embrace the next phase of my journey. The lessons learned and the experiences gained had prepared me to continue moving forward with confidence and optimism. The future held promise, and I was eager to step into it with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to continued growth. As autumn set in, the world around me seemed to embrace change with the falling leaves. The crisp air and vibrant colors provided a perfect backdrop for reflecting on the significant transformations I had experienced over the past year. This period of transition offered a moment to appreciate the progress made and to prepare for the future. My new role at work was proving to be both challenging and rewarding. The initial period of adjustment had passed, and I was now fully immersed in my responsibilities. I was given the opportunity to lead a major project that involved coordinating with various teams and stakeholders. The project was demanding, but it allowed me to apply the skills I had developed and to demonstrate my capabilities. The success of the project not only boosted my confidence but also reinforced my belief in the value of pursuing one's passions and taking risks. Outside of work, I continued to nurture the relationships and activities that had become central to my life. Emily and I celebrated our growing bond with a trip to a secluded cabin in the mountains. The retreat provided a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of daily life. We spent our time hiking, cooking together, and enjoying the serenity of nature. The experience deepened our connection and reaffirmed the importance of having a supportive and loving presence in my life. The community garden project remained a source of joy and satisfaction. The harvest season brought an abundance of produce, and I relished the opportunity to share the fruits of our labor with local families. The garden had become a cornerstone of the community, symbolizing collaboration and the positive impact of collective efforts. The sense of accomplishment from seeing the project thrive was immensely gratifying. My involvement with the summer camp for underprivileged children also continued to resonate. The feedback from the children and their families was overwhelmingly positive, and the camp's success was a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone involved. Seeing the joy and enthusiasm of the children reinforced my commitment to community service and highlighted the importance of making a difference in the lives of others. As autumn progressed, I took time to review and refine my personal goals. I set aside a weekend for a personal retreat, using the time to reflect on my achievements and to plan for the future. The retreat provided clarity and focus, allowing me to assess the direction I wanted to take and to set new objectives. It was a valuable exercise in aligning my aspirations with actionable steps. In addition to these personal and professional endeavors, I reconnected with old friends and family members. We gathered for a Thanksgiving celebration, which was a joyful occasion to express gratitude and celebrate the relationships that had supported me throughout the year. The event was a reminder of the importance of maintaining connections and appreciating the support of loved ones. The changing season also brought a renewed focus on health and well-being. I joined a local fitness class and committed to a regular exercise routine. The physical activity provided a sense of vitality and contributed to my overall well-being. It was a positive reinforcement of the importance of taking care of oneself amid the demands of work and personal life. As autumn drew to a close, I look back on the year with a profound sense of accomplishment. The challenges faced and the progress made had shaped a new chapter in my life, marked by personal growth, professional success, and meaningful relationships. The season had been a period of reflection, renewal, and preparation for the future. With the arrival of winter, I felt a renewed sense of readiness and optimism. The lessons learned and the experiences gained had prepared me to embrace the future with confidence. As I moved forward, I remained committed to pursuing my goals, nurturing my relationships, and continuing to grow both personally and professionally. The journey had been transformative, and I was eager to see where the next chapter would lead. Winter settled in, bringing with it a time of quiet reflection and contemplation. The cold weather and shorter days created an atmosphere that encouraged introspection and planning for the year ahead. It was a moment to pause and appreciate the progress made, while also preparing for the new challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. The new role I had embraced continued to evolve. As I settled into the position, I found myself taking on additional responsibilities and contributing to projects that were both demanding and rewarding. My efforts were recognized by my colleagues and supervisors, and I began to establish a reputation as a reliable and innovative team member. The success of the projects I led reinforced my decision to pursue this new career path, and I felt a growing sense of satisfaction in my work. In my personal life, the relationship with Emily continued to flourish. We spent our winter weekends exploring local winter festivals and enjoying cozy evenings by the fire. Our shared experiences strengthened our bond, and the support we offered each other was a constant source of comfort and joy. Emily's presence in my life was a reminder of the importance of surrounding oneself with positive, supportive people. The community garden project, though less active during the winter months, remained a source of pride and fulfillment. I took the opportunity to plan for the upcoming growing season and to reflect on the successes of the past year. The garden had become a symbol of collaboration and community spirit, and I looked forward to continuing our efforts in the spring. My commitment to personal growth was reflected in my continued pursuit of mindfulness and well-being. I attended a series of workshops on emotional intelligence and stress management. The workshops provided valuable insights and tools for navigating the complexities of life with greater ease and resilience. They reinforced the importance of maintaining a balanced approach to personal and professional challenges. As winter progressed, I focused on setting and refining my goals for the coming year. I reviewed my achievements and identified areas for further development. The process of goal setting was both motivating and empowering, providing a clear vision for the future. I set objectives for both personal and professional growth, aiming to build on the progress made and to embrace new opportunities. One of the highlights of the winter was participating in a charity event organized by the community organization. The event was a fundraiser aimed at supporting local families in need. The experience of working with others to make a positive impact was deeply gratifying, and it reinforced my commitment to giving back to the community. Family connections also played a significant role during this season. I took time to reconnect with relatives and to strengthen the bonds that had been affected by the previous year's challenges. The renewed relationships provided a sense of belonging and support, reinforcing the importance of family in navigating life's ups and downs. The winter months also provided an opportunity for self-care and reflection. I dedicated time to hobbies and interests that brought me joy and relaxation. Whether it was reading, cooking, or simply enjoying a quiet walk in the snow, these moments of solitude were essential for maintaining balance and well-being. As the end of the year approached, I looked back on the journey with a sense of accomplishment and gratitude. The challenges faced and the growth achieved had shaped a new chapter in my life. The winter season had been a time of reflection, planning, and preparation for the future. With the arrival of the new year, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. The lessons learned and the progress made provided a solid foundation for the year ahead. I was ready to embrace new opportunities and to continue building on the positive changes that had defined the past year. The future was full of promise, and I looked forward to stepping into it with confidence and optimism. As the new year began, a sense of renewed purpose and determination guided me through each day. The transition from the previous year to the present was marked by a fresh perspective and a clear vision for the future. I was eager to build on the progress made and to face new challenges with confidence. One of my primary focuses was the continued advancement in my career. The projects I had been leading were well received, and I was given more opportunities to showcase my skills. I embraced these challenges with enthusiasm, knowing they were stepping stones toward achieving my long-term career goals. My efforts were acknowledged by upper management, and I began to see tangible results from the hard work and dedication I had invested. In my personal life, the relationship with Emily continued to deepen. We had celebrated the start of the new year with a quiet, intimate evening, reflecting on our journey together and looking forward to the future. Our bond was a source of strength and joy, and we supported each other's goals and aspirations. Emily's unwavering support and companionship were a constant reminder of the importance of having a loving and understanding partner. The community garden project also remained a significant part of my life. With the arrival of spring, we began preparing for the new growing season. The planning and early planting were a welcome distraction and a reminder of the positive impact of community involvement. The garden had become a symbol of growth and collaboration, and I was excited to see what the new season would bring. My commitment to personal growth and well-being was reflected in my continued pursuit of mindfulness and self-improvement. I started attending a weekly group focused on personal development, which provided valuable insights and support. The group's discussions on resilience, goal setting, and emotional intelligence were particularly beneficial, helping me to stay centered and motivated. As I settled into the new year, I also took time to reassess and refine my goals. I set clear objectives for both my personal and professional life, ensuring they aligned with my long-term vision. The process of goal setting was both empowering and clarifying, providing a roadmap for the year ahead. One of the most rewarding experiences of the year so far was organizing a local event aimed at fostering community engagement. The event was a success, bringing together people from diverse backgrounds to participate in activities and discussions that promoted unity and understanding. The positive feedback and the sense of accomplishment from the event reinforced my belief in the importance of community involvement. Family connections remained a priority, and I continued to nurture relationships with loved ones. Regular visits and phone calls ensured that these bonds remained strong, providing a support system that was invaluable. The time spent with family was a reminder of the importance of maintaining close connections and cherishing those relationships. The winter months also provided opportunities for self-care and reflection. I made time for activities that brought me joy and relaxation, such as reading, cooking, and outdoor walks. These moments of solitude and leisure were essential for maintaining balance and well-being. As the season progressed, I found myself more focused and driven than ever. The combination of professional success, personal growth, and meaningful relationships created a solid foundation for the future. I felt prepared to embrace new opportunities and to tackle any challenges that came my way. Looking ahead, I was excited about the possibilities that the year held. The progress made in the past year, combined with the lessons learned and the relationships nurtured, provided a strong base for continued growth and success. I approached the future with optimism and determination, ready to make the most of the opportunities that lay ahead.